Hello there and welcome to Travels with Geordie. My name is Peter Knowles and my pup Geordie here, and I live on this classic wooden motor cruiser in Victoria, British Columbia. And we're fixing it up with a long, slow refit to enable it to pretty much cruise extensively. And if that's the sort of thing you might be interested in, why don't you join us and stick around, maybe even subscribe. We're off for our first little boat ride of the year. Aren't we, pup? Yes, puppy boy. Hang in there. Well, welcome back to Travels with Geordie. It is Friday morning, and yes, I have not done a single thing for this week's episode, which will be uploaded tonight at midnight. So, time to get moving on it. And the project this week is to tidy up this mess here. Some of you may remember I put that planking on thinking that that was a good idea, and it just isn't. So that's got to go. We're going to redo that in mahogany. To explain that, we have to jump back in time. Plywood problem. Let me tell you about it. Many of the projects on the boat I need plywood for, only because making everything out of solid wood today, the price of sapella mahogany would be obscene, and plywood just makes sense for some kinds of projects. Panels, if you watched me make this door, you'd know that it sort of made sense to make the panel out of plywood. Many of the cabinets and things that I'm going to build in the future need some plywood. But it would be really awesome if the plywood would sort of match the sapella mahogany I'm using. Now, there are many veneers of plywood around, obviously, and some may be available in actual sapella. So here, let's look at a few options here. This is Marente plywood. It's a very close match. It may not look it right now, but by the time these get finished, they're fantastic. They look really great. So that's great, except that this is crappy plywood. It's doorskin. In other words, it has glue in it that basically softens when you breathe on it. It's the stuff I used for the console, and some of you may have seen that fell apart. But I've also used it other places in the boat. You may not be able to see, but you might remember that I used it here on this bulkhead. Someplace where it's going to stay dry, and it works really well, and it's really cheap. It's not a marine product, and of course you can't use it where there's any chance of it getting wet. So I bought 2 sheets of it yesterday because I am going to replace this sea of cottage wood with something closer to real, with some panels, and it's going to be nice. That part is, I'm going to make it look nice. But you can't just make stuff look nice on a boat. It has to really be nice, at least to a certain degree. Okay, enter marine grade plywood. This is a very expensive sheet, 4 times the price of marine grade mahogany plywood. Well, the mahogany in this case is oakum. That's what it is, and I'm not sure that's how it's pronounced. I've never really worked with it in anything but plywood. Now, that is the same stuff as I made the door out of, and some of you will remember that I wasn't really too pleased with the way they stained together, and some of you will have said, big deal, it'll be okay in the end, and that is very true. But I'm trying to get as close as I can. So, this particular piece has grain on it, at least that is much closer to the sapella, whereas this piece, I didn't pay close attention to it, and frankly, the grain on it looks like construction sheathing plywood in the Douglas fir variety. It's not that bad, really. Okay, so I splurged on this today because I hate the idea of using doorskin. So what is the final solution? What am I going to do? I haven't the foggiest idea. You'll have to stay tuned. Okay, so it's time to actually get some work done. I think I might have mentioned that the 3 sheets I have here, 2 are crappy doorskin Marente. Looks fabulous stained. Crappy wood. This is, I think I determined it's Akum, I don't know how to pronounce it. But this is marine plywood, and it's good stuff. The back veneer is not nice, but at least it's good stuff. It's 1/4 inch. This is, the other doorskin is super thin. The door skins were to basically veneer this bulkhead and the back side of the same bulkhead so they looked half decent for some paneling. And when I say paneling, I mean something similar to the door I made a couple of weeks ago. Again, this is sort of arts and crafts style or mission style, and this same theme basically with the bull nose piece here will carry through here, and this will look quite nice. But truthfully, it's not paneling, it's a pretty cheap veneer. Basically, I'm going to put a sheet of the Marante against the bulkhead, and then I'm going to put some appliques on with some stainless steel pins. Again, it's not carpentry, it's a little bit of interior decorating. Did I actually say that out loud? I just want to point out that sometimes what I do, I'd like to think approaches actual carpentry, and sometimes what I do is smoke and mirrors. Smoke and mirrors. Part of the reason I'm doing this kind of smoke and mirrors is because any of you who've watched before I put this on, all up in here and all up in here, is some pretty ugly repairs from some rot damage that happened in the boat in the past. And I'd like to think in time I will improve them substantially, so this whole bulkhead will probably get tidied up sometime in the future. You're all laughing, you're going, yeah, sure you will. So I don't want to invest a whole lot in it, and I'm not, because that door skin is dirt cheap. Okay, so this is all coming off. I'm not going to do that now. What I'm going to do now, because it's late and I want to get prepared for tomorrow, is I'm going to take these two sheets of door skin and I am going to put polyurethane on the back. Whatever polyurethane, some sort of plastic sealer, professional semi-gloss everything. Literally just as a sealer to try and help seal it a little bit. That's what I put on the masonite in the overheads here, and which really also was an obscenely inferior wood to use on a boat, but frankly it's been up almost 2 years and it looks the business, and no water damage anywhere. So far so good. Part of it may be because I sealed the back of the Varathane, part of it may be dumb luck, who knows. So I'm going to make every effort I can to seal up the crappy Marante door skin that I'm going to use as wall veneer. I'll do the edges as well. Anyway, I'm just going to slap some Varathane on it, right? I don't even know if I'm going to show you this. But come on, really, how cool is it to have a boat that's just barely big enough to be able to schlep around 3 sheets of plywood and handle them relatively easily? When I say relatively easy, I mean only just relatively. This is not elegant. How about the back veneer? Isn't it gorgeous? Anyway, hopefully you're going to be the only people that ever see this. This is going to be done with such disrespect to proper carpentry or finish application. It's true, I can hardly imagine I will be showing you. Ooh. Yeah, I might want a little stir, you never know. I think that might be just enough in here to do these 2 sheets. There's no way you're watching any more of this. Okay, one down, let's do another one. Okay, let's do that all over again. You guys are having fun, right? Hey, you're back. Okay, so to be perfectly fair, I need to tell you that I have sourced some actual marine grade Marante plywood. So that would be the veneer I want and the glues and the core that I want, which is basically marine grade, so it's suitable for working on a boat. Now, the only problem is there's none available that I can find in the city right now. However, I've got some coming in. I've never seen it. I don't know the brand name. I can't look it up on the internet. I'm going on faith. I've invested so much money in various bits of plywood. Well, not this stuff, because this stuff is garbage. But I've got actually 2 different suppliers of mahogany plywood coming in, and we'll see if either of those are any good, because I have some cabinet projects upcoming that I would really like it to look half decent. Anyway, that's full disclosure. I'm waiting for this to dry, which basically is any minute now, in the sun and drying here, and now I'm going to stain the other side of it. If you remember when I did the door, you can't see it now because it's open. I forgot to stain the plywood in advance so it would match the sapele when it's finished. So what I'm going to do is basically pre-stain the entire sheet, or possibly most of it, because I don't need 2 full sheets for this. so that I'm working with pre-stained wood. You know, think of this as wallpaper. I'm basically wallpapering the bulkhead with a wood look. Yeah. Okay, well, time will tell if this was a good idea or not. I don't have much investment in the wood. I use that term loosely. I'm going to try and stain 2 4x8 sheets of plywood in one go. Yeah, I'm going to mop it on, I'm going to wipe it off, and I'm going to hope it looks okay. Not particularly elegant. Okay, for those who may not be aware, this is the Special Elixir, which is the stain that I blended from 2 stains, Minwax house stains. I believe it's 4 parts Sedona Red to 1 part Red Mahogany, but I'll put it in the comments if I in the description below if I remember. But it's what I've stained all the inside of the boat, and it seems to be the closest match to Sapele when the finish has sort of started to mature. Anyway, this is what we're putting on. I know, so many of you are just wincing. I apologize. Okay. I'm going to start over there. Oh, it's going to be hard to sleep tonight. Bit fumy in here. I might have to really open all these windows and seal myself off from the wheelhouse. Yeah, I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. So not much to this, just sort of wipe it off. And I'm telling you that, I mean, that is such a close match to the Sapele. It's almost cruel. There we go. In a few minutes, I have successfully stained 32 square feet of wallpaper. All right, let's get this off of here and do another one. Right. And there we go, 64 square feet of relatively pretty, relatively mahogany wallpaper. For all the indiscretions that this really is, it's gonna look friggin' awesome. Better than that. Alright, good night. See you tomorrow. Okay, so millwork, wallpaper, what have you, it's gonna be tidied up. Maybe I'm not doing this the best way, but I just gotta get it done, and I really can't find a way to do it any other way for now. Anyway, so what it's going to be is kind of a extension of this style, this mission style, this arts and crafts style that I'm going to use throughout the boat. There'll be paneling along here, multiple panels. There'll be a large band here which ties in a sill for the window and a head for the door, but because they're not lined up, it's going to be one continuous piece all the way across the bulkhead, with the exception that right here I'm going to build a small cabinet, a glass doored cabinet, which is going to store glassware, because as you can see, glassware seems to be my largest dish storage issue. Seems to be what I use the most for some reason. It's got to do a few things. It's got to cover a repair here, so it'll be at least that deep, and it'll come along. There's going to be light switches here, and it'll come down to about there. I haven't actually designed it. We're going to work through that together today. Let's get on with it. So first things first, I got to get this old planking off, which, you know, should be pretty simple. It's only held on with those tiny stainless steel pins. The problem is it goes down behind my temporary galley, so I'm going to have to remove that and shit. Yuck. How about I just get on with that? There we go. Alright, let's get the rest of it off, and then we have the joy of pulling out a couple of thousand teeny tiny headless stainless steel pins. Yep, this is gonna get old. Okay, so that's done. That was no fun. Now we have to do a little bit of design. I won't take you through too much of this because I have pained over this for, well, frankly, years. Okay, so here's the first of my 2 sheets of door skin that I've I sealed the back with Varathane, and I've stained the front. and frankly they look awesome. Now I just have to keep them dry, absolutely dry, because they will not survive getting wet. So now this is a 48-inch wide piece of plywood, and I have about 51 inches to fill. But that's no problem because I'm going to have trim pieces both sides. So I'm just going to center this and give myself just about 2.5, 2.25 here, and then that will allow me to cover that up, and then this will be within the panels. There we go. Perfect, perfect. Now I'm leaving a gap here as well, even though I have plenty of wood, because I'm going to have a trim piece here, and this trim piece carries a light switch or two, so I need a little extra room in behind to route out a wire chase. So this one is perfect, but I'm not going to install it yet because I want to seal all the edges, and I can't do this one in place like I can the one on the port side. So I'm going to prepare all the pieces, including the pieces up here, and then seal all the edges at once, and then put them up sealed. Okay, so now this doesn't have to be a terribly accurate scribe because after all it's going to tuck up behind the overheads here. So basically I just get it square with the boat-ish, and then I'll just take my pencil and put it at the highest point, wherever I'm going to start to scribe from, and then just follow the line of the overhead in a relatively... Excellent! Let's go cut this. There we go, too easy. Very nice, very nice. Let's go to the other side. So this will be the first of a few stabs at sealing the end grain with wipe on poly. The reason I'm going to use wipe on poly because that's what I'm going to use as a final finish on this. So if a little bleeds over the edge, which it certainly will, it's not too serious. I'm going to try and get many coats of this on here. We'll see how effective it is over the next, oh, I don't know, decade. Now I'm going to do a piece on the bulkhead you don't need to watch. Well, hey, welcome to Beer of the Week. This week I have a special guest, Kim from the Marina, who has brought along a beverage for us to try. And it's from the Axe and Barrel Brewery here on southern Vancouver Island. And the beverage of choice is the Langford Lager. Check out the Chevy pickup truck. That's quite the thing. Anyway, Kim, tell us a little bit about this. I understand this was brewed in your old stomping grounds.
Well, you're right, Peter. It's my old hunting and fishing stomping grounds of some 50 odd years ago,
right,
which is nothing like it is today.
Right.
Yeah.
Changed there a lot, has it? Yeah, that's
yes,
definitely big changes there. So what I was thinking was maybe it's time for you to reap the benefits of those change by, you know, you're not getting hunting on it anymore, but at least you can have a beverage from there, right?
This is so new.
Excellent.
I've not tasted it either.
Neither of us have tasted this. We don't know anything about it. It's a relatively new brewery. Would you say 2 years maybe?
Yeah, a couple,
tops? Yeah. Excellent. Okay, so let's fire it up and see what we think. It's a lager, so, you know, it's going to pour fairly carbonated. Let's see what we can do here. We're going to have to pour slightly less than full glasses here because we're drinking responsibly and sharing this bomber. Are these called bombers everywhere? I think of this. There you go, Kim.
Thank you. Yeah.
I think of this as a quart. I grew up in Montreal, Quebec, and I think of this as a quart bottle. But out here they call them bombers. Is that universal, Kim? Has it always been called bombers?
I've also called them quarts here too.
Quarts here too, exactly. All right, excellent. Well, what do you think of that? That's a pretty light-looking classic lager.
It is not that heavily carbonated either.
No, not as much. Can I poured them pretty aggressively? All right. Well, hey, cheers.
And cheers.
See what we think of this.
Pretty good.
What do you think?
Warm summer's day or warm spring or fall
Right,
day.
whatever. That's not bad.
I would be happy with this.
I would say for a lager, that is definitely a little bit upscale. Not bad at all. Really pretty good. Anyway, we apologize for the plane. Nothing much we can do about it at this point. So I'd like to cheers one more time because I'd like to thank and cheers and welcome this week's new patron, which is Bradley Armstrong. Thank you so much, Bradley, for joining and coming aboard. Cheers.
And cheers, Bradley.
There you go. So what do you think of Beer of the Week? Not a bad way to spend the afternoon, eh?
Oh my. And if I may be so bold, Peter, I would like to put in a plug for my dear friend and very good neighbor, Peter, who has moved into this small marine community and made such a huge improvement to the humble efforts that we make to keep our boats somewhat close to as nice as he's doing with his.
In time. In time.
Yeah.
It's all good. Well, Kim, thank you very
Thank
much. That's very kind of you. Cheers again. So, see you next week.
Cheers.